Lesson 10, Writing an Argument, Portfolio 2. We're going to focus on MLA formatting for this one, okay? So up until now, you've been giving an author credit for his or her work, and we've just been focusing on mentioning them in your paragraph. So you have to have in-text citations, right? So the Modern Language Association, which is what MLA stands for, is an organization that has created specific styles or a specific style for giving credit to authors, and that is called MLA style, and that is what you need to use for this class, okay? So first you need to make sure your essay is in either a Google Doc or a Word file, and you're going to learn how to format your paper according to that. So first of all, you need 1-inch margins all around. Most of the time it'll auto set your margins for you for that. It's the default in both Word and Google Docs. You need your first and last name up here in the left-hand corner, your teacher's name, the name of the class, and then the date. So all of this goes in the top left-hand corner. In the right hand, you want to put your last name and then the page number. Now, if this is missing from the portfolios that you turn in for my class, this part's not as big of a deal, but you do want to try to start doing that now because this is a requirement for MLA formatting for language arts from this point on all the way through high school and into college. Okay, so you need to know how to do this. Then you will have the title of your paper here. Everything in your whole paper is double spaced, plain text, either Times New Roman or Arial font. 12-point size. So don't make it any other size. Don't try to make it bigger so it looks like there's more in the paper. That doesn't work. It has to be 12-point size font. And then make sure that you have your indent at the beginning of each of your paragraphs. Okay, so on this next slide, we're going to watch a video. We are going to watch a video on MLA formatting for schools. It was the continuation of the video that we watched yesterday, but this one is specific to MLA formatting so you can avoid plagiarism.
If you've ever heard of the letters MLA before, you probably already know what it stands for and what it is. If you've never heard of MLA before, it stands for Modern Language Association. Now, that's not the important part. The important part is that it's a way to give credit on your essays or your reports. That way, you don't get accused of plagiarism. And plagiarism is a serious offense. In fact, depending on what school you go to, there are some pretty hefty punishments that they can give out. One reason that MLA is nice is that it's very easy. You don't have to memorize and remember everything that goes along with it. As long as you know where to find it on the internet, you'll be fine. What's even nicer about MLA is that it's standard. That means that if you do it here in Jim Thorpe, it's still the same in Atlanta, Georgia, Dallas, Texas, or Burbank, California. Now, even though MLA has many different parts to it, we're going to focus on only two parts. The first is a works cited page, and the second is something called in-text citations. Don't be scared if you've never heard of any of these before, because you're going to get a little bit of help from a Purdue owl. First of all, a Purdue owl is not a cartoon character, and it's not an endangered species. That's not to mention that it has nothing to do with the Purdue Chicken Company. What the Purdue owl is an online writing lab. It shows you the MLA format and style guide. It's basically a way of showing you the rules for MLA, and it's online all the time. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can access it anytime you'd like, or anytime you need to. It'll help you with things like in-text citations, quotations, endnotes, footnotes. It'll also give you an example of a works cited page, which we're going to talk about in just a few minutes. Even though this is easy, and even though you don't have to memorize anything, you do have to be aware of what kind of information is in front of you, and you need to know what you're looking for when it comes to that information. For example, ask yourself, who is the author? What is the title of your resource? Who was the publisher? What year was it published? Now that those questions are out of the way, we'll take a look at a sample works cited page. You're going to notice right away that it looks a lot different than the other pages in your report. Notice that the first line of each entry is at the left margin, but then every line after that is indented. This is a key characteristic of a works cited page. It's a list of each resource that you used, shown in alphabetical order, to show your teacher that you did not plagiarize in your assignment. Your paper might use different sources. It could be a book, a website, DVDs, newspapers, magazine articles, even video games. All of these may have been used to find information that was relevant to your report, and, more importantly, it was used in your report. This part is crucial, because if you did not use the information in the report somewhere, do not list it on the works cited page. Let's zoom in and take a closer look. You're going to notice right away that everything is listed alphabetically. If we were to take a closer look at a single entry, this is what it might look like. As an example, we're going to use C.S. Lewis's The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. The first thing that you're going to see is the author's name. However, last name is listed first. First name is second. Then comes the book title. Please notice that it's italicized. That part is very, very important. In years past, it was standard practice to underline a book's title. Today, given that we have the little italics button to press, we're able to italicize a book title instead of still underlining it, as in years past. Following the book's title, we put a period, then the publisher's name, followed by a comma. In years past, the publisher's location was also required. However, in April of 2016, this rule was changed. We then finish with the year of publication, in this case, 1970. Let's do another book. This time we'll take The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. First, we list the author's name. Again, last name first, first name second. Then comes a period. Then comes the book's title, again, italicized. Then we place a period, and we follow that with the publisher's name, in this case, Dutton. Follow that with a comma, and finish with the year of publication. In the case of The Fault in Our Stars, it's 2012. But what about an online article, you're wondering? Well, that's fine to use. You see, a works cited page must list all the available information of the resource in a special order, especially when it comes to a website address. In this case, we're going to use a New York Times article by an author named Cornelia Dean. The story was called Executive on a Mission, Saving the Planet. The article was published on May 22, 2007. It was read on May 12, 2016. If we had to create a works cited entry for Cornelia Dean's article, it would look like this. Author's name first, Dean, Cornelia, period. Then comes the article's title, in quotation marks this time. Executive on a Mission, Saving the Planet. After that, put New York Times, the name of the publication. As before, remember to italicize the publication's name. Next, we have to write the date that the article was published, but you're going to notice something right away. We have to do it in a special way. Instead of writing May 22nd, we're going to write 22 May 2007, followed by the comma. After that, you have to include the website's URL, otherwise known as the address. In years past, we did not have to do this. We simply could put web. Unfortunately, with the changes that came about in April 2016, we have to bring back the rule to include the entire web address. At the end of the citation, we have to include when it was accessed, when you read it. In this case, it was May 12, 2016, but we have to write it this way. Accessed 12 May 2016, and end it with a period. Being that many of you are going to use online resources, let's take one last look at a website. In this case, it was a recipe entitled How to Make Vegetarian Chili, found on a website called Leaf. If you used this recipe from Leaf, your works cited entry would look like this. First, the author's name, Susan Lundman, but we put it backwards. Lundman, Susan. Then comes the article title, in quotation marks. How to Make Vegetarian Chili. After the article's title comes the website's name. In this case, it's Leaf. And according to their branding, they use all capital letters, so we will too. But being that it's a website name, make sure to italicize the name. Follow that with the website URL. To finish your citation, mention what the date was when you accessed it, when you looked at it. In this case, it was July 6th, 2016, but we're not going to write it that way. We're going to write it accessed 6 July 2016. And now that we've seen what the Works Cited page looks like and how to set one up, let's take a look at how we use that information in the report by using in-text citations. In-text citations will show your teacher where you found your information using your work's cited sources. If you have a resource, and it could be a book, a website, a DVD, a TV show, if you have them listed on your works cited page, you must have an in-text citation for it somewhere in that report. And likewise, if you list something in an in-text citation, it has to be listed on the works cited page. You cannot have one in one spot and none in the other. There are three primary times that you need to use in-text citations. First, when you summarize a text. Second, when you paraphrase a section of text. And three, when you quote from a text. But now you're probably asking yourself, what on earth is the difference between a summary and paraphrasing? Well, to be as brief as possible, a summary is shorter than the original text and includes the main idea. It uses your own words. A paraphrase might be close to the same length as the original. It keeps the original information and it states it in your own words. Notice that both of them use it in your own words. At this point, you might be asking yourself, what exactly is a direct quote? Well, that's easy. It's when you go word for word from the original source. If you do, use quotation marks if you take it right from the book or the website. As a quick little warning, it should be mentioned that you shouldn't use more than 4 sentences for your quote, because then it has to be made into something called a block quote. And most of your teachers probably would not appreciate having too many block quotes in their reports. Let's go back and take a look at the story about Pennsylvania that we used in our example on plagiarism. The first thing that you can do is rewrite it. Put it into your own words, but keep the information. Here was John Smith's original version. Here is a good rewritten version. Pennsylvania, with almost 13 million people, is nicknamed the Keystone State, and there are several things that make it very unique. First, its capital is Harrisburg, which is located in Dauphin County. But cities such as Pittsburgh and Philadelphia are also major metropolitan locales. Smith, 48. Remember to put that inside parentheses, inside the sentence. Smith is the author's last name. 48 is the page number where you found it. So this is how it would look without quotation marks. But suppose that you wanted to use quotation marks. That's okay, just do it sparingly. And if you do, set up your in-text citation the same way as before. Don't list the story's title. Just give the author's last name and the page number if it's from a book. And as a little trick, if you want to skip the in-text citation for a paragraph, mention the source and author in the paragraph itself. Now, there are many more aspects to the MLA format. They're all very important, and they're all available to you. We only took a look at 2 of them for today. But if you ever need to look at any of these, whether it's in-text citations, works, cited pages, or anything else that we saw earlier, always go to Purdue OWL's MLA website.
So you learned a little bit about in-text citations and a works cited page. And you do need to have both of those things for your essay. So make sure that if you have questions on that, that you use the resources that are provided to you. So the OWL Purdue website, you can go online and you can look up that website, and there's a lot of helpful information on there. But also keep in mind that linked right below this video, you can find instructional video resources. It's an instructional video resources page that has instructional video resources on how to do these things. So Word and Google Docs can actually put your citations in for you in correct format. And I have included the instructional videos for those, so it shows you how to do it on that instructional video resources page. So pull up that page, look through it, see if there's things that you need, that you're confused about, that you need more additional help on. Watch those instructional videos and learn how to use it. So you can see here is an example of a works cited page in MLA format. There is a title on the page. It is on its own page. The title says works cited. It's in alphabetical order as they mentioned in the video. Notice that, remember how he said it starts on the beginning of the citation starts at the edge here, and then the second, third, fourth, whatever lines of that same citation are indented, and that's called a hanging indent. And again, Word and Google Docs can do this for you, so watch those videos on how to do that. And then everything, including the works cited page, is double spaced. All right, so guys, make sure you watch those videos and learn how to cite your sources correctly.